All right, guys, so there's always some questions about the analysis letter, so I want to try to address some of those questions right up front here when you're going to be completing this assignment. So when you click on the assignment, you're going to see the instructions or a link to the instructions. So a couple things I want to clarify. This assignment is written as a letter, but it's also kind of an essay. So it's like an essay letter, which is confusing, I know. But the best way to think of it is you're going to divide it like an essay. So you're going to have an introduction, a thesis statement. You're going to have your different sections. So you'll have a summary section, an intro, a summary, and then you'll have an audience, paragraph, ethos, paragraph, logos, pathos, and a conclusion. So those are your sections, and they're laid out here. But you're writing this to the author of the text. So it's kind of a hypothetical scenario. This person has contacted you for feedback. They want to know how they're doing. So we're just pretending here, right? But you're going to write to that person. Say you're writing to Nicholas Carr. You're going to write a letter to him and say, Mr. Carr, here's what I think about your paper. Here's how well you did in your ethos, your logos, pathos. So it's written in the second person to that person. But it's broken up into paragraphs, just like an essay would be. It still has a thesis statement. Your thesis statement is going to be kind of explaining whether or not you think their article is effective in terms of ethos, logos, and pathos. So do they write a convincing article? Answer that question in your letter. That'll be your thesis will be how effective their argument is. That's what it's about. And then in your body paragraphs, you're going to lay it out. So you will summarize their text, but you're going to summarize it to them. So basically think about like if you read their text, you're going to say, here's what the main points are as far as I can tell. And you're going to relay what you think are the main points in your summary clearly, and then you're going to break down each aspect. So how well do they address their audience, and what is their audience? You're going to talk about that. How well do they appeal to credibility? How well do they appeal to emotion and appeal to logic and so forth? So you're going to address those things with specific examples. So I'm going to use some sample papers on this page. So if you come to this page and you click on sample paper 1 and sample paper 2, those are going to give you some examples of what an analysis letter looks like. So just remember, yes, you are using I and you, and that might be weird to you for an essay, but it makes it feel more real because suddenly you're not writing to your teacher, you're writing to whoever wrote your article that you chose, and that gives you a real audience. In the real world, you're not going to write all your things that you write to your English teacher. You're going to write it to real people. So let's practice writing to a real person. So you can see in the summary in your article, you argue for, your thesis is, and so you see how that works. Set up like a letter, dear Mr. Coleman, and I'm actually going to use a colon here because that's more business-like. And then you're going to go through and it's all addressed to them, every single section. So consider that, and if you have any questions about this assignment, reach out to me. But make sure to study these sample papers and the assignment guidelines. It should give you a pretty good idea of what's expected here. Any other things you have questions about, I'd be happy to answer.